Number one, in each case, find the indicated features of the graph of y equals f of x. So part A is written in intercept form. So we're going to use these formulas over here for how to find the different parts of intercept form. So it says find the x-intercepts and the equation of the axis of symmetry. All right, so if we zoom in here, okay, to find the x-intercepts and the axis of symmetry, here's our axis of symmetry, which is halfway between the two x-intercepts. The x-intercepts are going to be whatever makes this equation, this expression equal to 0, and whatever makes this expression equal to 0. Now notice, both of these are written with minuses. So to see the x-intercepts, you're going to be thinking about taking the opposite of what you see here. All right, so let's take a look at what this looks like. Now, if I rewrite that second expression in using a minus, that shows me what the other x-intercept is. Okay, so to answer this first question, my x-intercepts would be 3, 0, and -7, 0. Okay, now to find the axis of symmetry, what we did was, it's going to be halfway between those two x-intercepts. Okay, that's this right here. The axis of symmetry is halfway between the x-intercepts P and Q. So the line of symmetry is their average. Add them up and divide by 2. So my axis of symmetry is going to be -7 plus 3. Oops, sorry guys. -7 plus 3 divided by 2. So x equals -4 divided by 2, which is -2. All right, question B says f of x is in this is a vertex form here, and it says what's the equation of the axis of symmetry and what's the vertex? All right, so when we're looking at vertex form right here, okay, the axis of symmetry is going to be the vertical line x equals h. And then the vertex is simply hk. All right, well, since this is written in the form that it needs to be, which is a minus h and a plus k, from this I know that h is equal to 4 and k is equal to 2. So the axis of symmetry is x equals h, which in this case is 4, and then my vertex is hk. So that's going to be 4, 2. All right, number 3, the equation is written in general form. So I'm going to go over here to get the equation of the axis of symmetry. When it's written in general form, the axis of symmetry is the opposite of B divided by 2A, and then I substitute that into the equation, and that'll give me the y coordinate of the vertex. This would be the x coordinate, that would be the y coordinate. Okay, so the axis of symmetry is equal to the opposite of B divided by 2A. B is -4, so I'm going to have the opposite of -4 divided by 2. A is -1, so that gives me +4 divided by -2, which is -2. That's my axis of symmetry. Okay, now to get the y-intercept, the y-intercept, all we're going to do is substitute x equals 0 into the original equation, right? So when all of these become 0 up here, I'm just going to be left with that constant c. Okay, so my y-intercept is simply going to be, when I plug 0 in for all the x's, I get -0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 6. So the only thing that's left is 6. So my y-intercept is the point 0, 6. Okay, for question 2, we're being asked to take this equation, which is in general form, and write it in vertex form. Okay, well, in class, we did that 2 ways. So in your note pages here, one way is to find the vertex, and that's using, that's this method right here, where we find H by using the opposite of B over 2A, and then we plug that in to the equation, and then that's going to give us the K value. And then to find A, you plug in you got your H and your K in, and you've then got to find what the value of A is. So you plug A from right here, which you already know, it's -2, into the equation. The other way to do it is to complete the square, and you'll get A that way. So either one works here. Okay. All right, so if I was doing this one, it would probably be easier to do the first option, because when I do completing the square, I'm going to have to divide everything by 3. That means I'm going to get a fraction over here, because 20 doesn't divide evenly by 3. All right, so when I go to do this now, all right, so for part 1, it says find the values of A. Well, we already know A from this equation, so that part's easy. So A is going to equal 3. Okay, now to find H and K, I have to find the vertex. So when it's in general form, the way I can find the vertex, the x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be the opposite of B divided by 2 times A. so that's -3. So -3 now is my H, that's the x-coordinate of the vertex. All right, now to get the y-coordinate of the vertex, we're going to plug 3 into our original equation and get the y value. All right, so right now my vertex looks like this. -3. Then to get this value, I'm going to plug -3 into there. So I'm going to have 3, -3 squared plus 20. And now I'm going to work that out. So I plugged in -3 into the original equation and did the arithmetic, and I end up with -7. So my vertex is -3, -7. And that's H and K. So K is now going to be -7. Write down the vertex of the graph. Well, we just did -3, -7. All right, number 3 tells us that we got the x-intercepts, or excuse me, the y-intercept of a graph of a quadratic function is 0, -16. The x-intercepts are -4, 0, and 2, 0. Write the equation of the function in general form, where a, b, and c are constants. Okay, so that means you're not going to have any fractions in it. All right, so if you know the x-intercepts and we know the x or the y-intercept, then the situation that we're going to use is this second one here on our sheet.